Hello and welcome to the Underway podcast. You're here joined by the co-owners of CrossFit Underway. It's Russell, Sam, and Jack. We're back up in the business. We're here. I had a break last week. We had young Keely Dempster on the podcast. How did that go, boys?
No, it was good. It was good, except we just had some technical difficulties, which Jack fixed instantly. So
Dang.
we have three.
I don't know what happened, man. My computer didn't like that microphone.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but Jack's laptop works for all three mics, and then mine and Russ's laptop.
That's why you don't buy Apple's.
My computer computes.
So now we have three mics, which is heaps better. Because if you watched the video, did you watch the video?
I haven't listened to it. I'm definitely going to listen.
Nah, just watch the video for a sec. Me and Russ are sitting fucking on top of each other.
Are you on Russ's lap?
We're like, right in that corner is me and Russ just fucking next to each other.
And are you sharing the mic?
Yeah.
Was it awkward? What were your internal thoughts?
Go, Russ. You talk.
I was what were my internal thoughts? I was looking at the freaking laptop the whole time, watching the sound bar not moving and going, "Is this thing even working?"
Yeah,
that was my internal thought.
Right.
I thought we weren't recording, but it did record.
And how did it affect your performance?
Significantly.
Yeah, okay.
It was annoying because like with these three mics, I can obviously go in and out whenever I want, and I'm like trying to signal to Russ that I'm done talking. Like you say something, and then he doesn't have anything to say. And I was like, "Bro, you take the mic. I've been on the mic for 10 minutes," and then that's all it
I
was.
was like, "You don't have to signal me, Sammy. I'll say something when I'm ready."
Yeah.
Well, Sam, what I'd ask you is, what would you do better next time?
I would have make sure we could use three mics.
And what if it's two again?
So I'm just directing. Someone's out. I reckon that was hard.
Okay.
Anyway, Keely
Fair
didn't
enough.
get the experience she deserved, so
She's coming
she'll
back.
be back.
Yeah.
She'll be back with all three boys and Keely, I reckon.
That
Dang.
means we need another mic.
That'll be
No.
fire. Got to
No,
invest,
we're not
please.
sharing.
We got to invest.
That would actually. This table would collapse if we had four mics.
Boys,
Oh,
what
no.
are we talking about today? What's
Oh.
the go? What are we talking about? We're talking about the raw strength block that just finished.
Yeah, that was exciting. We finally, it's always exciting to see people's hard work over the period of time come to fruition because you're sort of training towards this end result. So we had our max out day on the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. But it's you sort of get to reap the rewards for all the hard work you've been putting on and all the consistent training, and the people who did train consistently got rewarded, so it was good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good seeing people have a bite of the PB pie. So yeah, scooping all the peanut butter out of the PB jar. Yeah, just having an all round good time.
There was a lot of PBs, man. I
Yeah.
was pleasantly
What's
surprised.
the best lift or best reaction? I don't really remember any.
Dude, I reckon best. There
Everyone
was
was
two
pretty
really
dumb.
good lifts that I saw,
Okay.
just from sheer determination. Not necessarily the best PBs, because there was some people who like hit massive PBs and made it look easy. But I think the best lifts are the ones that people you can see the fight.
I saw
you know?
Dexter's
Right.
on the gram.
Yeah.
You can see the fight.
Was that one?
And
Was Dexter's one?
Dexter's was definitely one,
Yeah.
and I don't know if he should have gone for that because
Well, he
he already
did it.
hit a small PB, and then he was like, 2.5 kilos isn't enough. I want to go more, and he.
Oh, so he did 202.
He broke his back for it, but he got it.
Well, he said he was all right. I spoke to
No,
him the next
he,
day.
He was okay,
Yeah,
but
he just ended a bit of spinal flexion.
Who was the next highlight?
Who went
Amy
final?
Hall. Amy Hall's bench press, man. She fought for it. It was like
10 seconds.
it was like a good 5 seconds that bar wasn't moving anywhere, but she wasn't gonna quit, and she got it.
This is why
So
I reckon
it was
programming tempos on the concert trick is a good idea. Because you're practicing how you're going to one rep max.
I mean, but
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
I don't.
What do you guys think of that?
I think
Eccentric
that's good
tempo.
for skill acquisition, maybe, but it's not gonna have any carryover. To
I think
force
it will
development.
affect the weight a little bit too much. Where eccentric tempo makes more sense.
But you improve your slow strength.
Yeah, but you don't really.
Because they're the slow lifts, right? They're the slow lifts. There was a 10-second lift by Amy Hall.
Yeah, but the goal is always to try to blast through the sticking point, right? If you go slow, then you're going to have less acceleration when
But
you approach the sticking point.
I accept that,
think-
but my point is you don't ever do that on your one rep max, or a minority do. So to train like that would be a lot more specific, and I reckon, could potentially be a way of getting used to having a slow press on the way up and finding your weak points within that. And I wouldn't probably put it as a main lift, because I also do appreciate the thought that Russ is bringing to the table too. So it'd be interesting on an accessory day to do that. I think as a variation in training, that'd be cool to do.
I just think if you're not training your slow strength, maybe you just haven't gone heavy enough through the block. Because wouldn't it be addressed by we did 9 RPEs, didn't we, for ages?
Yeah.
A 9 RPE should be slow.
Right.
If a 9 RPE is fast, it's probably not a 9 RPE. Let's be honest. It's probably an RPE 7.
Yeah, I hear definitely. And the thing about lifting heavy and through the block is that something that happens when you lift heavy is there's usually technical breakdowns. So you get to practice moving slow whilst holding a high level of technique.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, you can practice lifting slow. I think there was a lot of bench press misses due to the opposite, though, which was a fast descend. So I kept telling people, I'm like, why are you dive bombing a bench press on your chest? Because the faster something goes down, the harder you have to press up.
Yeah.
But in saying that, though, people practice like that, so they're stronger like that. Well, they're stronger like that now, but over the long term, doing some eccentric downs or some pauses, I reckon, will take people to the next level.
Yeah.
Even just for the skill acquisition of it. Because some people would just bounce off the chest and pray and press.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jesus.
Where
you can
bounce
really
off the
see-
chest and pray and press.
You can really see who actually is good at bench press technique, because you can, they're controlling it down. They're pressing back through the angle, but that's what I think. But there was heaps of PBs.
And I think people start to do that because they just think, if I just go faster and try harder, it'll be fine, rather than relying on their technique.
And it's scary. You fucking just send it. You know what I mean? So you never want to go for a 1RM and be really chill, because you're probably not taking advantage of the neural or just the excitement of it. So I think, I guess that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a skill in lifting heavy weights, especially heavy singles. So, and I think it's probably something that we don't really focus on
and we don't need to. I don't think
you don't need to focus on that heavy single a lot of the time. And you're gonna, if you spend weeks and weeks for a peak, you're gonna start to get deconditioned to the volume. So is it worth it? I don't know, but people could have definitely done better. I reckon Sam's right, hit the nail on the head. They could have slowed down their descent phase, especially on the bench press. Bench press, I saw a lot of people fail because the bar just started and then it was on their chest and there was just no tension. There was no chance. It was just roll of the dice where they were going to be in the right position to press it back up again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and people failed some squats like that too. Probably not nearly as much.
Maybe let's use this time to say some things we could have done better. Well, I guess we kind of have, but what do you reckon?
Well, I think, obviously, at some stage next year, this cycle is going to happen again and we're going to refine it and make it better. So I think that for the most part, it was really good. If we could have had 1 or 2 more weeks longer, that would have been excellent because it would have meant we actually would have had a full deload at some point. It was about halfway through the cycle where things were starting to get pretty hard and everyone was getting sort of fatigued. And definitely by the end of it, everyone was on the point of my body's not feeling great. But I think it's just the build up fatigue. And if we had an extra week to just sort of have a bit of a full deload, that would have helped massively.
So do you reckon in the middle of the block deload?
Yeah,
because I think that was okay in the middle. I think we needed another week for peak.
Yeah, potentially.
Because our only deload was Monday to Thursday, and then we maxed on Friday and Saturday. So it was just it wasn't even a deload.
We could have had a longer peak, 100%.
That's what going back to what Russ was saying, we were doing what we had because we had Torian. We didn't want to max after Torian. So I think Yeah,
and towards the last couple of weeks, I reckon we could have got away with one heavy squat session and had the other squat session as a more technique focused squat session where we did some tempo work. I think wouldn't have changed anything with the deadlifts. I think people probably had the best results all around with their deadlifts.
I agree. I think we had huge success with deadlifts and bench because we've never benched twice a week. We bench twice a week, so we're doing double the amount of benching. And we've never deadlifted twice a week too.
I also think that the last couple
True.
of weeks we could have got away with one heavy bench session, and the second bench session could have been a more technique focused bench session.
I agree, but
Pause
but it
bench
was
session.
fun, man. I had
Yeah.
fun. I had fun on the bench block.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I did have fun.
Because I suppose that solves the issue of people dropping down onto the chest and understanding how to putting up focus more so on the technique of the bench press so that they improve at that.
Yeah.
So that
really
makes
just for the
sense.
last couple of weeks, just because the intensity was getting really high, and some people were struggling every session, whereas if they had one heavy session, they might have been more recovered coming into that session. They might have had a better performance, and also it would have been a chance to address some of their technical flaws with the lighter loads or the pauses or the tempo work or whatever we replaced their second heavy session with. That's what I would have done differently.
Yeah.
And then maybe halfway through the block, I think on that Wednesday, we had this Wednesday strength day where we had a lot of accessory work. We probably should have just maybe had an A and a B week to make it a bit more exciting, so they weren't coming in and doing there was a bit too much repetition maybe, where it got a bit monotonous.
I wouldn't say there was too much repetition. I would say, you're probably right. I was saying the issue was the drop off. It wasn't the program. It was like people being like, "Oh, we're doing this again." Wednesday.
Yeah, no.
So they don't attend. So it was more of like, I don't think the training was wrong.
Yeah,
the training was right. It was just like how. But then that could also came back to education for us. It could have been like, guys, this Wednesday's super important. It's 4 weeks of the same. Suck it up and come. Because let's be honest, you go to your job, you do the same thing every day anyway. You may as well do the same thing and train. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
So maybe just educating the more benefit of that strength day could have been the answer, or you make it more fun.
Yeah,
either or.
I mean, it was probably the right thing to do from a programming perspective, but part of getting stronger, there is some sort of like, because it is repetitive, it is something that you need to like almost just get through the boredom of going like, this is going to be hard. It was hard last week, and now I've got to do it again, and I've got to try to go heavy or try to make it harder for myself. And for some people, that can be boring. And I think that like good athletes get used to the boredom of training, of like doing the same thing over and over and over and trying to get that 1% better at it. Whereas if you're always trying to do the new fancy exciting thing, then you never spend long enough getting good at the boring basic stuff.
That's the main argument with CrossFit though. Like a lot of people like it's too varied, but then that makes it fun. So that's
what I'm saying. We could have made it. We could have had a little bit. We could have maybe tweaked that a bit. So next time we'll tweak it a bit to make it not so repetitive.
I personally liked it though. I actually enjoyed the Wednesday. I don't normally like the strength day, but I liked it for some reason.
I liked it. And
maybe because it was easier. I think because it was an easier day.
I don't think it was easy. I think it was hard. I don't know. I thought it was just as hard. But anyway, because I think at that point we'd been doing a lot of Metcon, so mentally in my
personal bias.
Yeah, personal bias. Like mentally, I was conditioned to doing Metcons, but mentally, I was not conditioned to doing high rep accessory.
I also reckon you were sticking to the RPEs more than I was. I was lunging stuff all weight, and I was doing like. Yeah, we were just talking and lifting lightweight. So maybe that's why I enjoyed it a little bit more. You were working hard on your lunges, I remember that.
Naughty Sammy. Come on, got to keep those weights flowing, bro.
But it was just a mental day for me. I was just having fun. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Chill. But
just enjoying the ride.
Yeah. And I guess, really not much else to talk about in terms of the 8 weeks. But I think there's plenty more to talk about on the actual maxes themselves. There was definitely some standout performances across the board. We had people getting like 30 kilo PBs on some things, which was just crazy.
Yeah, I think the block went pretty well. Like I think that there was heaps of positive stuff. So there's positive things about the block. I like the splits. I like how we put a technical focus on the O lifts. Like we still did them, and I feel like maintained them. A lot of people, I don't think their snatch or clean and jerk would have gone down in that time. And you got to worry about not letting the movements that you're meant to be maintaining in CrossFit decrease whilst you're focusing on other aspects in your fitness. So we put a focus on raw strength training, and I think we rode that nice balance of making sure that we're actually doing a lot of everything still. And I think people would have still been better CrossFitters on the other side of the raw strength block, even though it was focused on more so of the power lifts. And I suppose we'll see what happens on the test tomorrow in Jackie, what actually happens if people did experience a decrease in fitness but are feeling stronger, or are feeling as fit as ever and as strong as ever. So yeah, it'll be cool to see what happens. Obviously that's one objective marker, but
I reckon 95% of people will PB their Jackie time,
100%.
and there'll be the 5% that don't are the 5% that got ridiculously good times that are very hard to beat, and they may still beat them. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
the people that won't beat it didn't come to rowing day, man.
oh yeah, yeah. If they came to that Friday every week, they should. Beat it.
I think it's just us communicating to people, because, for example, George, right? This was like first week of the rowing. He's like, Sam, I don't need to do rowing. I'm good at rowing. I'm gonna go do this other Metcon.
Bro,
I'm like, George, we're rowing for Jackie. Like, this is the Jackie block. He's like, all right, I'm in. And then he did it. But that's all he needed, was me to say, we're rowing because of this reason.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll row, because he understands the process. He just didn't understand. He's like, why is the Friday mate just doing 400 meter rows?
Yeah. Communication is huge.
So I think that, like, with the boring days, maybe us as coaches explaining, or owners explaining why, it's not even that's boring, explaining why we're doing this like this stuff, and then they'll be like, oh, cool, I'm here.
It was hard, that rowing, man.
It was.
And it didn't get easier, and it was hard.
Oh, I don't know. I reckon it got easier.
I don't know, maybe marginally, but it's hurt every single time.
The early sessions, maybe I got fitter. Maybe that's what it was.
I don't know, they hurt.
Bit of a sadistic lens there, Russ, for the rowing.
I think Russ is really good at is rowing, and so he was rowing hard, and he
goes into the dark place on the rower.
You weren't getting beat often on that rowing times.
No, not often. But
who was beating you? Maybe George.
I'm not sure. I reckon Adam Couchman can beat me whenever he feels like it.
Well, did you hear what he told? He told me that he was racing you one week, and then he couldn't drive home. He was so sick. He went home. His missus is like, dude, what's wrong? He couldn't move. And then he's like, I'm not rowing that hard ever again.
That's awesome. What is it about rowing, Russ, that pushes you into the dark place?
No, I think technically you're pretty good at it, so you can just go.
Yeah, he's got that strong hinge, man.
Yeah,
he's got that hinge. Those deadlifts.
There's nothing stopping me from going hard on it except me how much I want to hurt. Whereas there's some movements that like, the thing there's probably other like I'm not getting muscularly fatigued. The whole body's getting fatigued on a rower. I'm not sure. I think it's what's the percentage? Like 88% of your muscles are working on the rower.
I don't know, but it makes sense.
So it's pretty taxing, I think. Full body tax.
88%. Where do you get these
like that.
Where do you get these stats from? I reckon that's probably true. But how do you remember that?
Whereas like on the air bike, the only thing that's stopping you is your legs get super heavy and then you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like the rower, it's like you've got your legs, you've got your upper body. If your legs start hurt, you start pulling more with your upper body. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing with the rower. That's why it can mess you up. But anything can mess you up if you sprint.
Yeah.
You do a few sprints, you're messed.
Right.
To go hard for a minute on anything, you're messed up.
Yeah, so. It's true. Like maximal intensity it's a killer.
Yeah, and that's why intervals suck, because you're like, we just went as hard as we could go, and now we got to do it again.
Well, yeah. I guess to sort of sum this up, what did we say? We said what we could do better.
I think, well, Jack was talking about the reason why he thinks this block was successful is because not only did we improve the power list, but we still made everything else a focus, and we didn't steer too far away from getting better as a CrossFit athlete.
Well, how did people go this morning?
Is to get better at it as a CrossFit athlete. So and another thing that we did well is there's 2 body weight tests. So obviously, if you put 15 kilos of any sort of mass on your body, probably all your power lifts are going up. So we still have a strict pull-up and strict handstand push-up test that's actually happening today. So
they did it this morning.
95% of people PB'd.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's like having
The singles technique.
Yeah.
It worked.
What?
Oh,
we
so
get-
people
singles
come out with the
method.
singles on pull-ups.
Yeah.
I think that's something to be spoke about as well. I think like obviously when you rehearse a test or you do a test and you repeat it, you know what it feels like, you know when to go, and you know realistically what you can do.
Yeah.
So we sort of done. I think that plays a role as well. So like people are pacing a lot better, and I think that will be helpful in Jackie as well, because you'll know your row time, you'll know what you can hold on to that thrusters, or you know what you can do for your pull-ups. So I think the power of repeating a test, like having a pre-test and a post-test, I think, not to counteract our point here, but I think just like, even if you didn't train, just going in with a different game plan can make you better. And that's the skill of CrossFit as well.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
So even if you are heavier, you might even do better from breaking it up better, because I'm going to break up my pull-ups and handstand push-ups more.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think 100% people are strong in their body weight
Yeah.
stuff, because we did a max effort strict pull-up.
Oh, that was
And a
mental.
lot of people, well, last week we did a max effort strict pull-up. So I was like, well, we may as well test people's maxes. We haven't been doing any.
That was cheeky.
And
Yeah, I remember, hey guys, we're deloading
Yeah.
today. By the way, we're doing max effort strict pull-ups. They're like, what?
I thought I knew what a deload was.
when you deload, you just max everything one set only. That's
Yeah.
you've got less volume.
Deloaded volume that day.
Volume.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it's fine.
but
Intensity
I mean,
was maintained.
Nathan hit what 33 pull-ups. I've never seen anyone get above 30 pull-ups before. That was really good.
That was the most I've ever seen.
That was stellar.
Yeah,
That was a
33
big high
strong.
five, that one.
I've never seen more than that in IRL.
I don't think we ever will.
Well, he might get 35 next time.
Let's hope so.
Keels did 30 strict handstand push-ups this morning. Unbroken.
Did she?
Unbroken.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
she just? What do you mean? She just
She
held
just
on.
she just sent it, yeah.
30 unbroken.
Yep.
Strict?
Yep.
Did you say strict?
Yep.
Something about those Dempsters and those handstand push-ups, man. Because I know.
Oh yeah, Marty.
Marty's a gun at them too.
I reckon that there must be debates over them at the dinner table.
Oh.
Like, well, I reckon I could do 30. No, you can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Fine, I'm doing it tomorrow. And then
So
and then
what
she
I
comes
love-
in
You know what
PBs.
cracks me up about Marty, right? Because I always coach Marty on the 7 p.m. on the Monday or whenever it is, and it's like we were doing handstand push-ups, and generally Marty scales most things, right? And it's like keeping handstand push-up in a workout. He's
Yeah.
like, Sam, I'm doing RX2, which is strict hands. I'm like, it's not even on the board, but whatever, Marty. Go do your strict. And he just rips the whole workout strict. It cracks me up.
Yeah. He's really good at strict handstand push-ups too.
Yeah.
Something was in the water at that Dempsey house.
Is it the short arms? Do they have short arms?
It could potentially be short arm thing.
I reckon that's what they were doing all lockdown there.
Oh,
Just straight-
that's what it was. That's what it is. That's what it is. Keely must be coaching them all the time. Handstand.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a big point too, isn't it? Because she's an ex-gymnast, so she's very good at the movement. So it's like she won't let the other people in her family not be good at
Yeah.
handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So she's like more motivated to coach on them.
No,
Do them like this.
So did she get more than 30 for her test then? Or did she just do one set and then...
I'm
Lay
not sure.
down.
She was just stoked. She came over to me, gave me a big high five, and was like, "I did 30 unbroken," and then like ran away.
was
That's,
that mid?
that's very impressive.
Yeah.
And it's not like... And she'd probably have put on like a kilo or something.
I reckon
Like,
Kero. I'll tell Kero when I coach him tonight. Hey, Kero, Keel's got. Wait, did Kero do it?
I'd have no idea about her body weight, but Kero wasn't here this morning.
Okay, because he's good at strict handstand push-ups. I'll let him know. I'll see if he.
Make sure those feet stay inside
Nah,
the handstand.
the Kero and Russ handstand push-up, half no reps.
No, hang on, there's nothing on the CrossFit standard these days. You have to have your feet together.
Yeah, 100%. That's the standard.
Is it?
It's
Yeah.
feet inside hands.
But
Yeah.
your feet can part way as mid-rep.
They
though.
can, but
They-
not outside the
Nah,
hands.
Kero goes on the edge of the mat like this.
No, the hands have got to be on the tape line. That's the
Yeah, he
standard.
does it.
Yes, and the feet need to be inside
Well,
the
that's
hands.
what I did at the start of the test.
Yeah, okay, that's what.
Yeah.
Feet inside the hands.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. And extra points if your feet are together.
Did she like do a pause, or you didn't really see?
I just
No,
every time I
like,
looked over
did
at her,
she-
she was just like smacking them.
Like, so it was just 30 like this. She didn't like stop at 25. You know, you do the slow singles.
Anyway, that is.
We'll have to
very-
talk about it next time she's on
I
the
don't
potty.
think there's many people. I don't think there's anyone beat 30 in a row.
Yeah.
I reckon Kara could maybe. Now that he knows the power of knowing.
Nah.
Maybe I won't tell him.
Caro won't beat it.
My best is 35.
Is it?
Yeah.
Keels is coming for you, man.
She is.
She's going to take you out.
I'm sweating.
That's actually good. Yeah. Anyways, I guess that's the raw strength block. We've talked on that for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
Well, we're about to go into sort of O-lifting. I guess.
Well, we didn't really mention on Saturday morning. Saturday morning was just like a vibe. That was a good vibe on Saturday morning, I thought.
Yeah,
I thought,
no, Friday and Saturday were both good vibes. I mean, I would prefer if everyone just came on Saturday and make it vibier again.
yeah.
I
Is there
Well,
anything?
yes
Is there
and
anything
no.
you guys would have changed about the runnings on Saturday morning?
no, I think it was perfect.
2 sessions, 7 o'clock, 8:30.
Dude, if there was any more people,
Rock and roll.
Yeah,
I reckon it would have took away. I reckon that was perfect. Like people coming on the Friday and say it was good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
So you
good.
actually had space. There was enough weights. There was enough.
I always get scared
Yeah.
when we do maxes, when 1 hour in back squats, because just someone's going to hurt themselves because they can be scary, and it's probably just maybe not even the person's lifting fault. It's someone else around them that could potentially, make them have a
Yeah.
accident.
That's
of
what I
some
mean.
kind.
That's why I
Yeah.
think it was really good. The only thing I think we could have done better is some people were squatting in the wrong height bars and benching like with taller people that I'm not sure whose job that is, but it's people just there was just a couple of pairs. I was like, this isn't ideal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're doing an extra squat to pick it out of the rack. Because that was the one thing I made sure I did. I was like, boys, like you can squat with me, but I'm not putting the rack higher because
Exactly.
How the hell?
No, exactly right.
How the hell am I
100%.
going to get? I'm like, I don't care. I'll squat by myself. I don't need.
Especially when there's free racks,
Yeah.
like over in the other area, like there's free racks around. And this is what I said to Mum because, like every time I looked at Mum, she was just like walking around in circles, couldn't figure out like what weights were on her bar. And I was like, Mum, like why did you stack your plates on your bar, not in color code order? Like you need to have them set properly. She's got like green 5. She's got like a 10, a 5, a yellow, a 2.5, a 5. Like it was just all over the place. She couldn't do the maths on it. Whereas like when you look at a bar and it's got a blue and a red on it, you're like, yeah, it's 110 kilos straight away. Like, but if you don't have it in that nice sequential order, then it's not doing you any favors. And then it just like squatting with people that like I think are also squatting around the same weight as you can be important, because I think that like having to take 50 kilo off and on the bar every single set is just a hindrance to the squat. So I think it's important to be able to say to your training partners or the people you're squatting with, hey, like this, or something like that you might come chat to a coach about, but being like, okay, it's my turn for my set. I need this on the bar. Whereas like, yeah, I know some people were sort of making compromise and going, oh, I'll just do a 10 kilo jump here and a 7.5 kilo jump there, extra than what I wanted to do because they wanted to be polite, really. Whereas you need to just be like, no, I want this weight on my bar. I've been training for 10 weeks for this training block. I need to have this weight on my bar, and like I'm not compromising.
That's literally what I was about to say. And because I started I hurt my back, peeps, so I didn't do any other lifts. So then I just started changing plates for people, right?
Yeah.
And
that was probably harder on the back.
Like, boys, what weight? And then, I don't know, Donnie's like, right, chuck 20s on. I'm like, yeah, no worries, Donnie, go. And then people are like, oh, there's already 20s on. And I was like, just do a small jump. Like, no. I'm like, dude, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, just do a lighter one. They're like, no. And they just wanted to do like, because that's what everyone else was doing on that bar.
Yeah, yes.
And I was just like, it literally doesn't make any sense. I had to tell Josh, like, no, you're doing a 170 jump before 180. Because he wanted to go 160 to 180 because that's what I did. I was like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just had to force people. So I reckon there was probably a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people that, and although we said it, don't retest what your previous max was. Make sure you skip that number. So you should be doing just under than that, just over. A lot of people went too far under, so the next jump would have been like astronomical to make it over. So they didn't do themselves any favors that way too. So.
But yeah, to add to that, the power of squatting with your friends and stuff is also there. So there's just little things like that I reckon they could have done better on. Another thing I think that we could have done better on is I think maybe, when we program 95 to 98%, I reckon that could have been a mistake because so many people just freaking sent it last week and they deadlifted huge and they just still would have been fatigued.
Well, a lot of people went, that feels good, I'm going to go heavier. Like that feels good. I'm so close to my max. I may as well just get a PB while I'm here.
Yeah, so that's what I think the negative thing was maybe we could have not programmed that high of a percentage, or had a longer break from that percentage to maxing. It was either one of those two, but that comes back to we didn't have enough time. Really.
I think that
Hmm.
that wasn't necessarily the mistake. It's just that people didn't do it as written.
Yeah,
And ended
I agree. Yeah.
ended up going, I feel good, that feels good. I'm gonna go for a PB now because in 2 weeks' time I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
Yeah.
And a few people said to me, and I said, and I didn't hold them back. I didn't say
I
"No,
was
stop."
I was the same. Yeah.
I didn't hold them back. I'm like, if you really want to, but I would suggest. Whereas I did what was written on the board.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I knew that I had more in me, and that's the idea. When you hit a good signal and you go, that feels good, that's like a win. It's not like that feels good, let's go heavier. No, that feels good, let's save it for the max day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that just comes back to education, us as coaches,
Yeah.
maybe.
But I think people are A, doubting themselves, and then B, not being patient. And so I think that they think about having to do that max later on in the future, and they're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. I've already got this weight on the bar now. Yeah, fuck it. I'll just put on like a heavy weight now and see if I've got it. Why not? Whereas it's like, just trust the process, wait, like your opportunity is going to come, and just be patient. Just wait that time out. I think that's what it comes back to. So yeah, I think that like, yeah, you really get tested when you start to like move against these or challenge yourself against these heavier weights, because you're asking so much from your body, and so much energy is going into you saying, all right, I've got to get everything I have in me and stand this heavy ass bar up on my back with all the force that I got. And it's like, to do that, it becomes really challenging to like start to make decisions on what weights to do and what weights to choose, and like on how to calculate percentages. Like people just get very emotional and it can sort of run away with them. So for me, whenever I find myself in those situations, and a huge thing that keeps me coming back is I go, whoa, like, okay, this tested me, and like, you know, I'm not acting the way I want to act right now. Like, why am I not in control of my emotions? I want control of my emotions, and this is good. It's training you to be in more control of your emotions, but it's like having that conscious awareness of that, because I don't think people, if you're not consciously aware of it, then it's easy to let your emotions just drive your decisions rather than thinking about logically what is the best decision to make right now for my performance, safety, etc., etc.
I also, to add to that, to being patient, I think a really good thing that we could do as owners is, no promises just yet, guys that are listening to this, is I reckon like little magnetic whiteboard things that could just sort of stick on the rig.
It's a good idea.
So people can write their weights on it,
Yeah.
and then they tick it off. So for example, it's like we're doing 5x2 at starting at 85%, and then the waves go up by 2.5% or whatever, and they write all their waves down, and then they've got them, and then they're like, okay, I just hit them, and then that's, you know what I mean? I think that would be huge, so people actually see what they got to do, and then they'll do it. There's no guesswork there. So
Yeah.
I reckon that's something pretty cool that we could maybe implement soon. We just obviously need to source the whiteboards, but I reckon, and that's also, I think, would be cool for scaled workouts as well, because you have people that are hurt sometimes. Like, Sam, what workout I'm doing? Like, yeah, do this. And I tell them, they're like, what? Now we can even write them down for people and stuff.
Whiteboards are 100% a move, man. There's so many times where I'm like, man, I wish I had a whiteboard or a chalkboard. The thing about whiteboard is it's better aesthetically. It looks nicer, and they're nice to use. But you need 24 whiteboard markers for people in a class, and they die constant. Like people leave the lids off. They're just. Whereas chalk, it's just, you get a little packet of chalk. It's cheap. It's there. It's easy. It's people just grab it and go. So, but anyways, that's a white versus chalk. That's my thoughts on that. Either way, I love the idea of that. And it's sort of like when you write down 5x3 at 85 kilos. It's like signed, sealed, delivered. I'm doing 5x3 at 85 kilos, and it's like, oh, should I add a little bit more?
No, stick to the one. Stick to the bullet.
Oh no, I'll just probably take a little bit off the next set. No, it's like, oh no, there's my whiteboard. Yeah, no, it's 5x3 at 85 kilos. I'm just gonna do that. Signed, sealed, delivered. Off we go. Yeah. Just stick to it. Be disciplined.
Think that's a move.
Yeah. I just think it's just trust the process of like trust the process and be patient. because I think that the only people that didn't PB on the day probably PB'd 2 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but still, I mean, like, just,
Or they weren't sticking to percentages throughout the block.
yeah. Or they were, or maybe something that they undid themselves is they didn't do the pre-testing, and then they were basing all their 1 rep maxes off old 1 rep maxes. So maxes that they'd done 12 months ago, and you've got to base yourself off where you are at now. And then as a result of that, we're maybe training too heavy and then missing lifts in the training block. So the people who max, I don't think a lot of those people who PB'd, I don't think they missed any weights during the lead up to that.
Actually, that's a really good point. Russ was talking about your current training max. Do you know how many times I had a conversation with people? I was like, oh, what are you lifting today? They're like, oh, like my 1RM's this, but like...
It was 2 years ago. It
Yeah.
was when
And
before I
like,
was
so
pregnant.
I'm not
It was
really training because I'm doing off my current training max. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
your current max. That's literally what we're basing all of our numbers off. So I don't know why people are like ashamed of a current training max.
yeah.
I just kept telling them that's normal. Like my 1RM was 205 on the back squat. I'm basing my numbers off 180.
Yeah, it's super normal. I'm at the moment, I'm squatting. I've got my percentages. My best ever is 200, but I'm basing off 190 because I call that's my E1RM at the
Yeah,
moment. That's
yeah.
my estimated 1RM, my training max.
So
all, all good.
Yeah, that's I think making that known, and maybe maybe we could do a post about that on internals because we're testing our snatch today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we testing clean jerk as well?
Later in the week, yeah.
Yeah. So then so we'll really tell people like these are the numbers we want you to work with. Are we using percentages?
Yeah, we will be.
Yeah. So like work with these numbers. Don't work off a crazy ass number unless you're
Yeah, it's like people can feel ashamed for not
Yeah.
being as strong as they were previously, whereas it's like there's so much more to that narrative. It's like they talk about there's like 3 windows during the year where your performance will peak and you'll have the best day ever, the 3 best days a year, and you happen to lift on one of those days, and you're gonna get a better max out if you happen to lift on that day. But if you come in and these factors, the factors outside of you just putting in effort on your snatch that day is like, if your nutrition wasn't right, your sleep wasn't dialed, you're stressed, if you got a little niggle like that you're harboring, you're incubating, it's like you're not going to lift as well. It's okay. It's like that's like it's a subjective experience, the training one. It's like it's going to constantly be varied and changing. So
I reckon we're going to
it's
make
fine.
a reel. I reckon we're going to make a reel, Jack, and you're going to be the star of the reel.
Yeah.
And it's going to be you telling it why it's super important to stick to your flipping percentage.
I've been told off that I'm on our Instagram too much.
Nah.
I've been told off. I don't think I see enough Sam and Russ on this Instagram. So I reckon. What do you reckon, Russ? I reckon Sam sounds pretty passionate about this one.
Conversations I had with people this whole block. What are you basing numbers off? I'm not sure. It's week 8. How are you not sure?
Yeah.
What have you been doing? I've been doing what I feel like.
Oh,
I was like,
makes me
and
pull
then
my hair out, bro.
I was like,
100%.
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Just tell me like something I could give you an estimated 1RM.
Yeah.
Just off whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my only thing I think I want to eliminate in this O lifting is like maybe just educating people on that.
Well, I think...
And they're the ones that don't PB.
Now they shouldn't have any guesswork because we've just done all our maxes.
Yeah.
So they really should, like 99% of people shouldn't be guessing what their maxes are because we've just done it.
All right, when we ask in next week in class what you max, you should know.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
good numbers to know.
And the other thing is you got to record what you're doing.
Yes.
Oh,
Because if
yeah,
you're not
Russ.
recording what
Russ
you're doing-
just tried to look at some stats. Russ, tell him.
Yeah, I was trying to look back. I was trying to compare their, PBs to put out some numbers on the podcast today. And legitimately, looked at the first 10 people on the list. I'm like, well, that's wrong because I watched them do this. That's wrong because I watched them do this. That's wrong. And like, there was about maybe one person out of those 10 that had the right weight written down. So I was like, oh, it's not even worth going through.
Arthur, Dexter, they were two.
Dexter
They were
was-
two
Dex
names.
was right. Arthur was wrong.
Didn't he? It was only
And
145 kilo back squat, and he squatted more, didn't
He
he?
scored one. Yeah, he scored
No,
more than
Dexter
Yeah.
put his score in though.
Dexter
As
put his score in.
145 on there, I thought.
Dexter,
was that?
Dexter's score was in.
Oh, Dexter's-
Arthur's wasn't in.
Arthur,
So who was-
calling
Couchman's
people out,
wasn't
man.
in.
Couchman.
I only looked at the A's, man. A's, B's. We got the B's, and then it was like
We can't use.
We were
these-
too disappointed to continue.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't lead by example there. Oh no, I hurt myself, so I didn't do them. No, I'm safe. I'm safe. Did you put your maxes in, Russ?
Yeah.
Yeah, bang.
Yeah, I did the ones I did. I put them in.
Nice.
Mm. Yeah.
But no, overall, I think I reckon the strength block was super good, and I reckon we're going to carry this momentum over to our Olympic lifting block, which is starting next week.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, Olympic lifting is still like, obviously the goal is to get strong for your O lift. So people think that we're not going to be doing any of the thing we were doing in the past. That's not the case. You're still going to be doing them. It's going to be more focus on the early lifts, and this will pretty much be like the last big strength push before we start to think about as we approach spring
Fitness.
and stuff, and then we got to get fit again.
Do you?
Well, it's not like we're not fit.
What's some considerations? Because you've obviously been right. You two have been right in the O lifting. What's some different considerations you've taken into account from the powerlifting block to the O lifting block?
Considerations in terms of
like, is there different considerations? Like, obviously, you probably don't want to back squat as much, or because we might want to do front squats. Like, what's some differences from the powerlifting block to the O lifting block compared to obviously doing some more Olympic lifting?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to obviously see the Olympic lifts more and complex of the Olympic lifts, and we're obviously going to be pushing the weights heavier in Olympic lifts. That's sort of low hanging fruit answer. Obviously, we're going to be doing the snatch and clean and jerk more so, and I think and we're even going to be doing them twice a week. Like, we're going to be doing a variation of the snatch, even if it is an overhead squat, twice a week, and we're going to be doing a variation of the clean and jerk twice a week. So we're gonna get practice in that. The deadlift is currently an option right now, so you can choose to clean pull or you can choose to deadlift on that day. So look, if you're someone that's got amazing O lifts, which is it is a minority, then go hell for leather on the deadies. But if you're someone that or you just enjoy deadlifts and want to continue ramping up on those, sure. But if you're someone that wants to improve your clean and jerk and snatch, it's definitely going to be beneficial for you to hone in on that clean pull and break down what's going in the clean pull, build some confidence around your pull in the clean. And so there are a couple of differences. What else is going on in there, Russ?
I think you hit it nail on the head. Like, we're just doing the Olympic lifts more frequently, which means we get to do almost a day where there's more focus on the technique, and then there's a day where we're focusing on going heavier in the O lifts, and then
because technique is huge.
Well, that's sort of a thing I would consider is like, if I step back and look at our members, right? And in general, our members are super strong, like at their slow strength, I would say. We're really good at powerlifts. Let's be honest. They can all squat a shitload. We can all deadlift a lot. We can all bench press a lot. So we do have a lot.
Yeah, like I feel like we're actually good at that.
Yes. Yeah. Where the O lifts, I would say we lack in that. We've got
as
the strength
a gym, as a whole.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we have the strength potential there. So the things that I think are obviously letting us down are, number one, mobility. Yeah. I would say there's a lot of people that can't do a really nice overhead squat. So that's something that I think should be addressed. Considering mobility, and also just the skill of your positions and your practice.
Yeah.
So I don't even necessarily think it needs to be too heavy. It just needs to be really focused around those two things, because the strength potential's there.
Yeah.
How many boys are squatting over 180?
Yeah.
Literally, I used to be the only one.
Now,
used to be the only, there's literally like 10 to 15 guys squatting 180.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Same with deadlifting 200. And And
our gym's growing up, man. Our gym's growing up.
Squatted above 100.
Yeah.
And deadlifted above 100, which is still like, they're like,
yeah.
And then if we have a look at the numbers there, you go, okay, something's wrong. And I think it's, what you said.
Well, I think there's nothing wrong. It's just that we haven't put a massive emphasis on the Olympic lifts in a while. And I think the reason being is the Olympic lifts are hard because they are more technical.
Yeah.
So people have to and I guess, part of strength training is people get caught up with trying to put more weight on the bar. And the problem where you can go wrong in the Olympic lifts is you can get caught up with trying to put more weight in the bar, whereas that actually isn't what you should be doing. You should just be trying to lift the same weight again and again and try to make it better.
That's where I was going with my point. I think our technique as a gym isn't as honed in on that as the power lift. So really focusing on just adding weight might not be the best answer. I think obviously complexes, because they apply technique to it, and just little things like that, I think, are things that we should consider from our members specifically.
Even in this last...
overhead squatting, we need an overhead squat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
We haven't done overhead squats in ages, and now they're in the program for the at least the next 8 weeks,
Yeah.
and if not the next 12. But I think they'll probably be in there for the next 8 weeks, and then there'll be a second snatch day.
I've been putting SOTS press. I've been putting SOTS press for the competitors. And I was like, boys, do SOTS press, do SOTS press. You're gonna thank us when you get to the lifting block. And hopefully it helps.
What do you guys think about developing speed under the bar in a snatch and a clean? I know there's a few, particularly masters athletes, that struggle with speed under the bar in a snatch or clean.
Can I counteract that point?
Yeah, for sure. About
I don't-
masters athletes specifically. Or?
Yeah, I think our speed under the bar is actually okay. Hold on. There's obviously some people that are slow. I think a lot of people we haven't done a lot of pulls. So I don't think that people really know how it feels to actually pull under the bar correctly. Because what I would say is you watch people, right? Or you watch a lot of people, they have the old contact, dive under. There's no really pull under the bar. So I think that's something we need to focus on. Is actually pulling under the bar. Don't get me wrong.
Would you program something like a panda pull?
I don't. I mean, yeah, but I think they probably I don't think that's fixing the issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to do like muscle snatch or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Work that pull in the middle.
Yeah.
I think most people are pretty good at pulling. Personally,
Yeah.
No,
I think
not their pulling strength potential. I'm talking about like the actual technique of pulling under the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they're actually not using the correct muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why some people aren't good at pulling under the bar.
Yes.
At getting under the bar.
Yes, because they just
fast.
make contact and just try and go. But yeah, does that make sense?
Right.
I think there's a few things that are at play. I think one of them, and you talked about it already, is lack of mobility. So if you're not mobile enough to get into a good bottom position, how can you pull under into a good bottom position quickly?
Mm.
So that's number one. Is
Mobility
you've
is
gotta
massive.
You've got to be comfortable in your bottom position, and if you're not, then you're never going to be fast under the bar because you're not going to a stable position.
100%.
You don't know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? So some people need to learn where they're going, for one. And
Or if you can't get there,
Yeah.
you're not getting there.
Yeah, if you can't get there, you're not getting there.
Yeah.
In which case, not every exercise is good for everybody, and some people need to accept they're never going to be elite Olympic lifters, and that is a fact. And you may not change it. Doesn't mean you can't get better at it. Doesn't mean you can't get better for yourself. You're only competing against yourself at the end of the day.
Right.
So you can always get better at the lifts to a certain point, but you may never have a good overhead squat position. So is power snatches the best thing for you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's
But
that's
a certain
the point I was going
that's
to
a,
say.
that's a certain individual, obviously.
Mhm,
But for people who can get into a good position, I think something that we haven't done a lot of, and that we are going to be doing, is going to be working from the power position or working from the high hang. Or if we had blocks, which we don't have blocks, you'd work from the high blocks. And I know that in the past, when I did a lot of work from the high blocks, that helped my speed under the bar because you're just forced to get under without any upward momentum. And really, if you practice enough, you should be able to lift almost your max from the high hang. So which means that if you can lift 100 kilo snatch from the floor, you should have to do a 100 kilo snatch from the power position without any momentum, and you just get under.
And but that makes sense because we're actually developing the skill of how to pull under the bar, right? Because I would say most people, because we've never really done a clean pull in class or a snatch pull in class, if I said, guys, we're doing snatch pulls, we're doing clean pulls, one person's doing it right in my whole 24 people class. So that's where I think us working on the pulls and working on our pull unders is going to...
Well, not right. Like, everyone's doing it right, but
like
there's like one person has like you would probably regard as like great technique or good technique.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it safely. Everyone's doing the exercise. Everyone's
But I mean, just like getting the...
But you've got a high standard of that.
Getting the intent of the pull. But that's no one's fault at all because like we've never really done snatch pulls.
That's your fault, Sam. That's your fault.
That's no one's fault. Like I said, my snatch pull and clean pull is probably shit right now. So I haven't done them in years. So I'm excited to get involved in some...
Well, your pull's not that bad because you're still snatching, you're still clean jerking. So really, when I tell people to do a snatch pull or a clean pull for the first time, you just think in your head you're going to snatch the weight, and then you don't snatch it. Like you just pretend you're doing a snatch, and do all the same things you do. Because people get like, oh, snatch pull, what's that? Well, you've already been doing them anyway. You've been pulling the weight off the bar to your hip and getting under it, haven't you?
Yeah,
So
but
just-
I like to cue different things in it though, because
Well-
like I'm like, okay, we're not getting under the bar now, and you might have weak legs, right? Someone might have weak legs. I'd be like, in your snatch pull, I want you to think about like when you get past the knee, is extending through your quads or pressing through the floor as hard as you can. So that's I think the power of it is you can change people's cues, and you can change people how they pull in a good way, and that's why I think it's super beneficial.
I love that shit. Individual cues for
Yes.
individual people. That's when
Because
that's when the
powerlifting,
coaching levels up.
because that's
Ooh,
another
yeah.
one thing like I learned was I wasn't even using my leg power. I got freaking strong legs. Why aren't I using them?
Yeah.
That was one of the things. I
Use the
focused-
dogs.
Yeah. What used was in my snatch pulls. I'm thinking about just squatting off the floor or whatever the cue may be.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, my back's not great, so.
Sorted.
I mean,
You'll recover, man.
Yeah. No, I know, but I just wanted to send it. I wanted to hit a 1RM snatch today, but I probably shouldn't.
A few 30-minute sessions in like the lying elbows position,
Yeah.
you'll be sweet.
No,
Yeah, I feel like you got to mention the tall snatch.
Yeah.
The tall snatch
Oh.
helps people pull under the bar.
Unreal. Well, we do it as a warm up, kind of.
Yeah,
Pretty close to.
not
every
enough.
day.
Not enough.
I think we need to do it with the bar.
Yeah,
Not
like
just
if you
body
can,
weight.
to tall snatch, 30 kilo, 40 kilo, or if you're a lady, like 20, 25, 30 kilos, like you're balling.
I got Matt McAfee yesterday morning. No, last week. And he's just doing empty bar snatches. And it looked Wait, his back obviously must be better.
well, it can move, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's 100%.
We were doing hang snatches and it was unbelievable.
Motorbike mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did hang snatches for 20 minutes and it was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just but that was just, we didn't add any weight to the bar. It was just like me and Helden helping him because Helden
He's been really cool to coach. Like, he's been
Yeah.
very coachable. Just
Yeah.
just asking questions, taking things on, like very interested.
And
cool.
me and Helden were sort of helping him out and whatnot, just sort of trying to keep him entertained because he's obviously not adding weight to the bar because his back's sore. But no, the technique. But that's just the power of actually just using a light weight. Couldn't believe it. Unbelievable. 10 out of 10. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think people, like I was talking about before, how people get carried away with adding weight to the bar is like, if you're adding weight to the bar and it feels different to what you were doing before, you probably shouldn't have added weight to the bar.
It's true.
And for beginners, it's more important than obviously if you know how to do the lifts, then you need to go heavy at some point because you need to start to feel those heavier percentages. You've done enough work ingraining the movement pattern, but a lot of people haven't done the work to ingrain that pattern. So that you need to do a lot of repetition at probably something that's not heavier than 75% of your max. Because when you start to go above 75%, you're probably going to butcher it. Something's going to break down. And if you just keep practicing and trying to make it snappy and fast, then eventually you can make it snappy and fast when the weights keep going up.
While we're actually talking about this as well, Russ, what do you got to say
Yeah, that's a
about
good point.
the people that 90% of people like to O-lift? Let's just throw that. Maybe 80, maybe less. 70% like to O-lift.
So
reckon,
70+%.
70%. What about those 30% that aren't in love with Olympic lifting? What have we done?
Well, there will be some alternatives to the O-lifts. Obviously, the goal is to do something that's as close to the movement that everyone else is doing as possible. But if you're nowhere near those positions, there'll be another option, an easier, less technical option. Because at the end of the day, if you have no interest in the Olympic lifts, if that is something that you don't want to get better at,
Try a new sport.
and then like
That's a good answer. I would say, do they just not want an Olympic lift because they're not great at it? Was that a good?
yeah, well maybe.
So,
I mean,
so it's sort of like we're giving them simpler options that are fun still,
yeah,
and that will take them closer to doing O-lifts. Is that what we're doing?
yeah,
No,
exactly.
or they're doing different things.
No, also, there will be.
Pick
there
a
will-
different sport.
I thought I'd just test the waters on that one. See your guys' reaction. I agree. But I've been a part of this planning process of of what Russ is talking about. I think that if the Olympic lifts are challenging you and for whatever reason that's okay. Like let's do something else like a push press.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, what happens if you can't front rack a barbell? You can't front rack a barbell, and now you expect it to clean. What are you going to do? You're going to
Clean pulls. Bang.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can't front rack a barbell, so you're not
Yeah.
going to be able to do a clean. So is it worth catching the clean on your wrist and potentially hurting yourself. And then
Oh
you
no
can't
no
do
no!
anything.
I just send those people and get them to stand in the corner for 15 minutes.
But you like in that case of that person, yes, you could do clean pulls, or you could do deadlifts, or you could do. There's a heap of.
There's
other things you
options,
could do.
guys. There's options.
could
Pretty
do
much what I'm
arch
saying
ups.
is, if we're saying overhead squats and you're like, shit, FML, I don't want to do them.
Yeah, there's some people
It's,
that can't put their hands up.
But don't forget, there is broomsticks, guys. Sometimes it's okay to use a broomstick.
100%. Yeah.
Actually, Halden was doing the snatch warm up with me the other day. And I was like,
Yeah.
Halden, why are you using a 10 kilo bar, mate? That's my bar. And I was like, oh, well, you listen to me. And he's like, no, he went to he's working with a weightlifting coach or something. And his weightlifting coach told him to use a lighter bar.
Chris from Iron Tribe.
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I said the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halden's been using the light, working his way up the bars.
He's on the coach's bar, man.
Yeah. I was like, Halden, give me
Yeah.
that bar, bro.
Yeah, I am more than happy to give up that coach's bar all the time. I use the broomstick.
Yeah,
though
I
to
do
warm up,
use the
though.
broomstick. But with the clean, it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, for my tight ass shoulders.
Yeah, I just force it under the chin.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
And-
saw.
But then you see some people just like holding it. Like
Yeah,
this. You're like,
yeah. And then I'm like, I bring it down onto my shoulders. I can do it.
yeah, but that
Yeah.
was cool to see Halden, doing some lighter work and working his way up the barbells. That was cool.
That's sick. Yeah, that's the cool shit when people like, because it's a humbling move, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is the humble move to go. All right, I'm gonna work on the thing I'm shit at.
Yeah, Gail's asked me to coach her tomorrow when they go through a session with the Olympic lifts, so she's
Gail's
ready.
lifts are fine.
No, but she doesn't feel confident with them. I said that's fine. I'll go
Yeah.
through them with you. But she
Yeah.
wants to have some practice before the lifting
Oh,
begins.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Yeah, just
she's
get a bit-
even fired up, man.
get primed.
Fired up.
Right, you're gonna prime her tomorrow. But
Yeah.
there's a huge thing is confidence in the
Yeah.
lifts, and diving under that bar is but to bring it back to that confidence to dive under that bar under like. If you it's a bit of a like I like once upon a time was worried about getting under the bar, but like yeah, to dive under a 100-kilo snatch is actually I can understand how that would be a mind-boggling thing and how you'd have to train and coach yourself and sort of talk yourself into that because like yeah, it can be dangerous.
I think what Russ said before could be clipped because it was perfect. Because I think the reason why you're fine with diving under a 100-kilo bar is because you're comfortable in your position and solidified in there.
Yeah.
Like for me, I'm not really scared of lifting, right? So I can squat and I don't mind having any weight on my back or whatever. You get to O lifting, I'm a little bit scared of diving under heavy barbells, and it's just because my overhead squat position is not mobile.
What if I got you to do like 5 sets of 1 pause overhead squat at your 1 rep max?
Well, yeah, that's just that would improve my mobility.
Like, would that be a good recipe to be able to improve that? To culminate
if
some
I can overhead squat my one
confidence into that position?
Yeah, but you can
Put a
also-
range on them, 80 to
I
100%.
probably just need it. I was watching these Olympic lifting videos last night, some mobility hip ones. I was like, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
It was actually Sonny Webster doing these drills on Graham.
Yeah.
Saved him.
Can you 10-second pause overhead squat your 1 rep max?
I reckon
Because if you can, you're PBing, baby.
Yeah, 1 rep max. I don't know. I feel like that's something that people shouldn't try.
That's pretty sick.
Because it's like get your
I
1 rep
reckon I
max.
could, bro.
For starters, get
I
it.
reckon-
Hey, let's
I reckon
go.
I could, but my snatch isn't that much. That's why, compared to my strength.
Beautiful.
That's why.
That's
but-
why I would need a range, 80 to 100%.
Yeah.
Start at 80%. See how you go.
And also, I guess people also need to practice missing because it's like, it's like if you've never in a back squat, if you've never dumped a bar off your shoulder and
Just
then
don't
at your
miss,
max,
man.
and then at your max, you're gonna. Yeah, but what happens?
Practice missing.
No, I'm just saying you gotta learn how to dump. The
It's
weight
so
back.
funny because you're both right.
Yeah.
It's
If
so
you-
funny.
some people don't know that you can throw the bar behind you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I understand what
So
you're
if
saying.
you're
though.
always missing in front, you're gonna be scared to get under the bar because you don't know where.
But you
Today, guys, we're doing snatch throwbacks. I want you to land that snatch and just
No,
throw it
so
as far
I
back
just
behind you as you can.
I just pictured someone in my class. I'm just going to throw Kara under the bus here. He's my mate and he won't get offended. I'm just going to imagine Kara going too heavy or just throwing like a stupid weight and like take it down. He's like, no, I'm practicing missing.
yeah, yeah.
Just tell me to practice missing.
Yeah,
I'm
saying
I'm practicing missing, bro. Just leave me alone, dude.
I'm saying get 20% of your max.
Yeah.
And feel your bottom position and test you dump the bar behind you and test you dump the bar in front. Make sure they go, okay, I am not going to kill myself. Let's go.
Yeah.
I let instincts kick in, bro.
Yeah, you do. But some people don't have them.
Yeah.
They just...
If you've never,
You need to train instincts. You fall to the level of your training, right? Like it's like some people are just getting comfortable dropping the bar from overhead. Not the empty bar. The
All the fives.
all the fives, but the 10 kilo bar. I'm like, drop it. And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, just drop it. And they're like, no, I don't want it. And I'm like, yeah. And then I show them and I'm like, look, you just dump it like that. And they're like, oh, okay. And they do it and it's all timid and shy. You look back over there and they're still lowering it down. It's like, it's all good. Like people aren't used to doing that. Like they think like
It's not a super.
they hear the noise, the
It's
bar
not a
shakes,
super
and
common
it's like
thing, though.
it's
I
crazy.
would say a lot of gyms that weren't CrossFit, even if they have bumpers, wouldn't.
Super understandable.
Yeah.
Super understandable.
Our plates have probably got 4 years taken off their life, but
Yeah.
stuff it.
Yeah. But we love launching bars into the ground.
I'm
so
not putting it down.
ups our service.
Yeah.
I don't know. I reckon there's a lot of people where the first time they drop the weight, even the first few weeks of dropping the weight, they still do a little dance after every time they drop it. They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get onto their toes.
They're like,
They do a little pirouette.
like, oh, it's
You know what cracks me up, right? I don't know what. This cracks me up. You know, people that
exciting.
drop things that they're not allowed to drop. I just love everyone just look it up. Look it up. Like, for example, kind of new person or someone just drops something. Everyone just heads go straight to me. You know?
Next snapped.
And then just see me walk over there.
Did you see that? Did you see him do that? You gotta tell that shit off. I remember when you told me off.
That's why I like in the fundamentals to make it super clear what they can drop, just because it saves it, makes it less awkward
Yeah.
in class. 'Cause I find I'm an awkward human. So like in class, I hate, yeah.
Everyone's got that like day where they're just having the best day of training ever, but it's dumbbell day.
Yeah.
And they're just like, they're just launching that dumbbell every set. And you're like, oh, I hope I don't ruin this steam train, but I got to let them know.
Yeah.
And then I just yell it out now. I'm like, don't drop the dumbbells. I'm like, if I hear it's too loud. So,
I mean, some people just probably have a lapse of judgment for a second because they're so used to dropping the bar with the plates on it, and then they forget there's no plates on it, and they just go, huh.
I don't know.
See ya.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
I've seen people.
Adrian Valor definitely had that.
that thought
happen to him
definitely
the
makes
other
me
week.
feel better.
The other week, he definitely had that because he dropped it, and as soon as you dropped it, his like jaw hit the floor. He's like,
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
He must have been in another place in his mind or something.
Yeah.
But someone
Just confident.
someone was dropping a weight the other week in class. I'm gonna tell the story and I'll tell Jack the story anyway. It was funny. But Jas was dropping like a 5 kilo weight. Not in a bad way, I like Jas. Like at all.
yeah,
And Jas is pregnant. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, this is a hard conversation. I don't know, but it should be a hard conversation. I wasn't sure if she was dropping it because I don't know. I was like, Jas, just remember you can't drop the 5. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. She just completely forgot. But yeah, it was funny. I just felt bad telling off the pregnant lady.
You're a cruel human.
Not
man.
to drop
You're a
the
cruel
5.
human.
I'm like, Jas, you're
No.
strong. It's all right. Put him down. What would you have done?
No, you got to tell her.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
tell her. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. We just need to be reminded sometimes. Because all these strong people lifting the big weights with
Yeah.
the 10s.
It just made me laugh just because I was like, I double thought. I was like, oh, I'll just let it go. And I was like, oh, no, I better not. But yeah, how long have we been going for?
Oh, just over an hour.
Have we been going for an hour and we haven't started the topic?
Oh.
I
feel
think
like
that's
got to wait for next week.
I think we stuffed up, Jack.
we can't go too deep into it.
We haven't started our topic and it's been an hour.
Well, how deep do you want to go?
Well, I got places to be, so we can't go too much longer.
How long you got?
Oh, we'll just do a quick Torian prediction then.
Yeah.
We were obviously going to talk to
What do you
Jack
got?
about Torian because he's going to Torian, but we've been here for an hour talking about lifting and dropping barbells. So
And dropping bombs, apparently. Someone's dropping bombs here.
I don't know.
Sam's face, you just looked at me
I
with.
was like, what? Oh, that's to be him. It was not.
They're both dropping bombs. They're both.
wasn't me at
I
all.
was like, finally, Jack's gone. I could drop some bombs. Yeah, no.
Oh, I had a healthy stream, by the way. I was busting.
Thanks,
Well,
man.
all right, we're at the end. We're at the end here. We were going to pre-release this before Torian, but there's no point now. I may as well just drop it on Sunday because it's not even a Torian episode.
Yeah, anyway.
No, we can. Jack.
Normalize talking about healthy streams.
All right, 10-minute Torian chat. Let's go.
All right.
10-minute Torian chat.
What do
Let's
you?
hear it out. So,
Well,
it
Jack
to me.
talks for 10 minutes. He's going to Torian.
all right, Jack, how you feeling, man? You're a week away. Not even 5 days. 4
You
days.
call me weak, bro. I'm feeling good, man.
Feeling good?
Yeah,
What are you?
Are you sleeping? Are you eating?
I'm
Are
sleeping.
you throwing up?
No, I'm not throwing
Well, that
up.
happened last year, didn't it?
No, I didn't
have you
throw up.
packed
I was
the
sick.
gastro stop?
No gastro stop packed yet. I've packed my party shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you coming out? No, you're staying in.
Trying to keep up with these questions.
Sorry.
That's all
We're
right.
just trying to do it super fast. I don't even know where to go from this anymore.
That's all right. We're excited. Yeah. No, it's going to be a fun weekend. It's pretty. I mean, there's a bit going on. Like generally in the gym, everyone's pretty excited. There's a few people asking me some questions this morning about it.
Tell us about what Melinda's doing to you this morning.
Oh, Melinda, I mentioned to the boys just before. She's our like first podcast listener every week. So, but she's like, Jack, you can't injure yourself. You're not allowed to do the demos. And then like, because I did a wall walk in the warm up, she's like, Jack, I can't believe you did a wall walk in the warm up. You can't be doing that. She's like, you got to understand, I'm a mother. I am a mother, and as a mum, you can't be doing these things. And I'm like, Melinda, relax. I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. And then I went and grabbed a bench for Ty so he could elevate his feet for ring rows. And she's like, I cannot believe you went and grabbed that bench. You are just not thinking at the moment, are you? and then Mick Johnston came up to me. He's like, mate, Matt Fraser method, mate. You got to be using a butter knife. Don't be using a big sharp knife, mate. Like, yeah. So everyone's really they've got a lot of care. They've got a lot of care for me. So they want to see me do well, and yeah, pretty excited. Yeah. The Cam was talking about the new point system, and I don't know if you guys saw, but the East Regional that just went.
Yeah,
there's 10 spots for males and 11 spots for females of the new
Yeah,
the
because
new
it's due to
ratio system.
So what does that make for us?
We've still got 3 and 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So
it doesn't affect us at all.
well, no, but it's like, wow, imagine competing on regional with 10 spots. Like you could be in the second heat and qualify for the games.
But does that change depending on applicants?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So
So-
like it depends on how competitive the region is.
And how do they determine that off last year's placing?
Yeah, so you get what's called a power ranking now, and it's based off your
It's
previous
like local football.
rankings. And essentially you the better ranking you get and the higher you place on the leaderboard, the stronger your region becomes and the more spots you get allocated. So
I like it. It makes it confusing, but I like it.
yeah.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. If you've got like 100 of the fittest people in the world in the one region, there should be more spots, right? That's basically what that's saying.
So
Yeah.
So if there's more sign-ups in
Medeiros-
Oceania, there's more.
if
more-
Medeiros comes to Australia, does that let's assume there'll be a 4th spot open?
Well, I think you have to have lived in the country for 2 years. Like you had to have had a residential address in the country for 2 years.
Got it. That was
Yeah.
my next.
So
yeah.
Ali Turner, his missus, is still competing in Australia, but she wants to compete in America.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to travel over to Australia to compete.
to America.
No,
No,
from
no,
America.
she's-
From America.
She's from America. She's coming to Australia. to
Yeah.
compete.
Yeah.
But,
No.
but
cool.
she can take one of the spots still, as normal.
100%.
And
Yeah.
you can go to compete in the region over there if you wanted to, couldn't you?
But you'd have to live there for 2 years
have to
with
live
a
there.
residential event
Oh,
address. Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. So
I mean, it sounds complicated, but we don't have to think about it. I
Yeah.
guess like
Yeah.
someone's working out these numbers.
And
As long as it's fair.
yeah.
Who's lost spots? You wouldn't. know. Or
I
just,
think
like,
I think
small-
Africa's got one spot.
What did they used to have more?
Nah. No, they were like a joint regional. Yeah. I don't think people have. I'm not sure who's lost spots. I don't know. I'm not up to date on all the
Yeah.
regions.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe
it's not that important. You don't need to worry about it. It doesn't make
It doesn't
difference
affect
to you.
us.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be uproar from those countries that lost spots because they'll be like, yeah.
So you know all the workouts for this weekend, obviously already.
Oh
did,
yeah.
Did last year? Did you know all the workouts prior?
Yes. Yeah.
And did you know them sooner now? Did you
Uh,
know them sooner than
I-
you did last time?
I'd say around a similar amount of time,
Same.
but the big difference this year was we got to watch a semi-final happen
Yeah.
prior. So the semi-finals just happened this weekend because it's now old regionals format, where like all the different regionals happen over 3 weekends. So we're the second weekend, so we got the advantage of now watching people. So like for example, we know a rep starts at the top of the bench press. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It was hard to watch. I didn't stream Linda. I just watched the CrossFit podcasts.
So
but I'm pretty sure they start at the
So
top
you
of the
can't kick up and go down to your chest first. You got to kick up to straight arms.
Yeah, or if
Another.
you kick up to your
Oh, you
chest,
just
you
do a
do the
half
first rep and that doesn't count.
That's
and then
normal.
it starts and you
Yeah.
go down. Yeah. And yeah, same thing like the pistol squats. There's like a 3-rounder with 20 pistol squats with a 10 kilo backpack. And you have to do 5 reps on one side and you're not allowed to have the other foot touch the floor. Otherwise, you have to start that 5 reps again.
Oh, wow.
So they're testing balance, boys.
5 reps with
We're
unbroken.
gonna
Yeah,
hit some
and then
stinks
so
on
like
that
5
stand.
right, 5 left, 5 right, 5 left, and then you got to do 30-inch box jumps with weighted backpack on.
That sounds.
Burpee box jumps.
I was talking to Ben about that one just because that got released and we were at the gym.
Yeah.
And it was practicing. And I was just like, holy shit! Did any? Oh, you didn't watch? Did you watch that event?
Yes.
Did people face plant?
No.
Oh, I reckon they'll be close. I'm face planting, man. Imagine a backpack doing 30.
I could hear the hope in your voice. You're like, "Ah."
Yeah, but you know
I had
what?
10.
You know
I had
what?
$10 on
know
someone
what?
face planting.
30th fittest people in Australia, Sam. So when you're one of the top.
No, but it's max effort, isn't it?
Yes, in
I
remaining
think I
time.
reckon we'll make. There'll be.
Is it box jump over or box jump? Box jump over, yeah.
Burpee box jump over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 And it's a ring
It's a
muscle up
30-inch
complex.
box too,
Yeah.
and you got to do it in a 10 kg vest.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
It's a,
I reckon
Yes.
that'll be.
When you're tired.
I reckon that'll be a fun drinking game at Torian. Anyone that face plants, gotta have a drink.
I reckon skull. I reckon you got a skull for
That's a
that
skull,
one.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But
So-
I'm feeling like, honestly, to talk genuinely, I'm feeling like I'm in the best place, not only just physically, like I'm feeling strong and fit, but also mentally. I'm feeling like just really, I would use the word grounded heading into Torian. Like I've
relaxed.
yeah, I've become more excited, but I have access to that relaxed state, which is very grounding. So yeah, like a relaxed, grounded state, I would say is fair. Yeah, and you know that I think that's attributed to really like sitting down and thinking about what I needed to do last year, and knowing that I'm entering Torian this year, having completed a whole training block in what I feel like was the right space for me. Like I made a move last year to go and train at CrossFit Frankston and be coached by Rob Forte, and to train with Jay Crouch and with Matty Sturt and that training group. And it meant I had to step away from training with Luke Starr. And, you know, he was like, he was a really influential person on my personal CrossFit journey. And we formed like a great connection, and I still rate his program. He's a great coach, great programmer. But I had to make the decision to go, actually, I think this is going to be better for me for the long term. I'm going to be able to learn so much here from someone that's actually an in-person coach that's like literally been to the games for a decade, like 10 times. Like the being able to talk to someone who speaks from experience like that, it's just like, I feel like I just am so privileged to be able to literally talk to one of the GOATs in the sport every single day in training. And like there's not been a single thing that he's told me to do that I have not gone and done. I have taken every single word on as best as I can. And I can wholeheartedly say that I know I have. And, you know, just training that environment, with Jay, like, you know, someone that's not only like young, my age, like we used to kick it like when we were teenagers, and, you know, we met through CrossFit, like, and we just go way back. Like we just have a laugh, like in training, and have fun. And he's so big on having fun in training. And that was one of the biggest things that drove my decision when I was changing, you know, programs last year, changing my training environment and coaching influence, was that I need to be having fun doing this, because I do not want to be looking back on my athletic career in 10 years time being like, why did I stay doing that thing where I wasn't having as much fun? And, you know, there's even that element of being able to step away from the gym that is also my workplace, being able to enter a different space. There's, you know, it doesn't mean I'm not haven't been very successful at underway, and underway supports my success, and I'm not appreciative of that. It's more so that it's after coaching 4 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the morning, and then training, it's a different energy to then like leaving the space, going to have lunch, and then like entering a new space and training somewhere where I don't give a shit if there's 1.25s left out on the floor. Like I don't care if there's bands left on the rig, or like I'm, not that that's a really big deal to me, but like I'm not trying to clean shit up as I'm training and worrying about like, just the different things of owning a gym. So, being able to enter that space has been phenomenal, and all these things just have built me up to going like, wow, like I committed to what I feel like was the right decision. And so, that's given and instilled me with a lot of confidence heading into the Torian Pro this year. And, I'm super excited to get out there and just rinse it, just see what I've got, like enjoy the experience, like, use that adrenaline that you get from the event to my advantage, and just absolutely just lap it up. So I'm super excited. There's, Gerard's not competing, so that's unfortunately Ricky injured his shoulder, and that's unfortunate for him. But as a competitor, I'm like, okay, well now there's another spot open for the podium, and if I were to say that my eyes aren't hard laser focused on that podium, then I would be lying, because a part of me really is in saying that. I'm going to do everything I can to perform at the best of my ability. And if I achieve that, I'm going to walk away so happy, because I feel like last year I couldn't compete at the highest level I could, or I didn't get to express my fitness and my hard training because I was unwell, and maybe I let that get to me. And I was sort of going through a breakup, and my head was in other places. And then like the year prior to that, I was like younger, and it was just like, again, like I was having issues with anxiety and problems with, like, I think just with my mental health in general. So, I think like this year, like it just feels really wholesome to be actually enjoying the process and feeling like things just flowing, rather than like really trying to force myself to feel good through the process. So
we definitely looking the most relaxed I've ever seen you a few days out. So I think that's that's definitely a good sign. And
yeah, and I feel it, man.
And knowing what the workouts are, I imagine you're going to do very, very well in all of them.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
There's anything there you're like, well, this is going to be a bad workout for you, because I don't think you have any holes in your game these days. So, I know that our members are just as excited to go and see not only you compete, but Ben compete and Seb compete. So it's going to be pretty damn exciting.
I'm super excited. I think the point, obviously, because we're all business owners here, and I think I do tell this to people, I train not as hard. I know it sounds funny, but I think Jack made a huge point about going into another space, or like where you're actually dedicated to train, because I think that's huge. And so I spoke to somebody else about this, and they're talking about what were they saying? Shit, why have I forgotten what it was? Oh, they were talking about like, can you get better can you make the games doing a class, or like being a part of the community? Do you need to be doing an individual program online for 4 hours? And I was like, no. I was like, the reason why I think Jack's so successful or looks really relaxed going at Frank's, because I think deep down he loves CrossFit. Like you guys that listen to it, like that's how Jack started, and is where he's back. He's coming in, he's getting involved with the community, he's doing classes, he's doing his extras, and I think that's the best thing for him, because you were training by yourself in the gym and you're a social butterfly. So I think that was one of the things that I think is huge for you, getting around more people and being sort of like in a class environment, and an environment that you're not responsible for creating. So I think like even with Jack saying where there's like bands left out and stuff, like we like to think that doesn't annoy us, but it's just, it's like at your workplace, someone leaving things out there. Jack doesn't have to think about that anymore. He goes in and he can break things. Well, he probably can't break things if he wants, but He goes in, trains hard, and gets out of there and gets involved in a community just exactly like people are with us. So I think that's why it's huge.
Yeah. No, definitely having a different training space if you're gonna like to separate your workplace and your now it's time to train just to go somewhere else. Because like, imagine if for those listening out there, I'm sure like you might not know, you probably don't own a gym, but imagine if there was a gym at work and you stepped out of your office and you went to next door and there's a gym. And I know it's the same as like if you train at home, you got a gym training at home. You're never going to train it hard at home because you're at home. That's your space where you relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's if to think that you're going to train just as hard at the place that you work is like that's a hard ask.
That's right, and I think that's a good way to put it. It's a hard ask because at the end of the day, you can, but it's going to be harder. You need to it can be done because like my coach Rob, like he trains and was successful out of his own gym. And I think it's, I think it's something that I definitely needed to be able to like step away from that space, and it's been really beneficial for me, and also just to learn from someone that does train in his space and the things he does. And I know that now that when I train in my space now, because I train there on Tuesdays, when I coach the evening, but I definitely train better because I'm watching him and I'm learning from him. And
do you have an example?
Oh, look, like
of things he does.
Yeah, 100%. Example, like funny example. You might not think it's much, but like he does the class like with us. If we do the class, which we have done most of the time. We do like the 4:10 class there, and then do extras after. But lately we've been doing like a 2:00 training session so we can practice transitions and things. But like he'll just join the class and he's just I don't know, just like enjoying it, like having a joke. He'll just burp. Like it's just like he's just so relaxed and just like, it sort of has that more so of a carefree attitude. Like he switches off that stressed work brain really well and like enters that space of training and sort of draws that boundary line so well. And you can just see the change in him from just body language and things like that. So yeah, and he just loves it. Like it just reminds you that you do actually love it, and how to just express that in the way that you need to. So yeah, but yeah, he's been super influential, and it's exciting to be around someone like that because I feel like I'm learning so much. Like I'm almost doing like a mentorship, and then I'm able to bring that back to Underway, and I have become so much more of a better coach and built so much more understanding of myself and so much more understanding for CrossFit because I am learning from someone who I regard as one of the GOATs in the sport, especially in Australia. So definitely building me up to do it. But yeah, that's what I'd say on Torian. I'm super excited. Like warm weather, it's gonna be a vibe.
Yeah.
Flamethrowers.
Is the weather no rain? Because they had a shitload of rain.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not a weatherman. I don't look at the weather. I just look at
matter to you.
Look at the sky. Takes it. It comes.
Beautiful. Look at that, man. Not a rain cloud in the sky. According to Apple weather, if you can trust it.
Bit of sunbaking, smash some coffees, get behind Benny Newland, fire him up in that snatch event. Watch him take out the snatch event. Yep.
He's got. Yeah,
I'm keen to see how Benny's gonna do because he's looking pretty dangerous, man. I reckon he's looking the fittest I've ever seen him. That's for sure.
And bro, like if he's not training, he's doing something else. Like he's working or he's studying or he's at uni. Like he's up early, he's home late. Like if that guy committed, it was like the same thing when I talk about Ben Halfpenny when he was training. I'm like, if that guy actually just trained full time, it would be scary because he is so fit. It's crazy, so strong,
he's
so
got
fit.
the dog in him, man.
Yeah, he's got muscle mass. Like he's ripper bloke too.
Yeah, he was. I saw him the other day. He was feeling not so good.
I
got a bit of that thing that was going around. I told him to
relax. Yeah, I'm like, bro, you look like you need to take a chill pill, man.
Yeah,
but I'm just tired and a bit.
But it's this time of year in Melbourne, man. It's going around. It's hard to dodge getting like sick at the moment. Like the people are dropping left, right, and center. You just like got to be like, get to bed early, drink your
And I forget
Eat your greens and
he
get to
goes
bed early, man.
Yeah, I think him going to uni as well plays a huge role. Like it's stressful, and he cares about it, and he wants to do well. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's hard as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe you could look at it the way of like if he wasn't at uni, maybe he'd be stressed because
Yeah.
he's like, what am I doing with my life? I'm not studying. I'm not utilizing this
That's also like
time.
an
I'm
out.
not,
Yeah.
it's like, so yeah, that's just what he values, and he's competed really well this year. So yeah,
Well-
just depends on the person and how they look at it.
Oh, next time you
Am
listen
I
to
go-
this will be the
can I-
Torian wrap up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Can we take a risk and say the next time the podcast it'll be you and Ben, Torian wrap up?
Yeah,
Ben's
That's-
not going away, is he?
it's a good bet. I don't
Anyways,
think so.
we'll ask him.
I don't think so.
Hopefully, the next episode is Jack and Ben vibing, talking about Torian.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm
No.
keen to see how Seb goes too. I'm really keen.
Seb's,
Oh, we're getting
he-
Seb on the podcast?
Seb's
Seb-
gonna do well.
That would actually be cool.
Yeah,
Seb's gonna monster. Like, I mean,
He'll have to take a
He's-
day off.
all these events look good for Seb. I can't see him not doing well. in
We
any
won
of them.
last year, didn't he?
Slalom handstand walk that's the question mark because his handstand walk, like we don't know what this slalom handstand walk's going to involve.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's a bit of a question mark.
yeah, but all the boys will be in the same boat.
Yeah. So everyone will be doing it for the first time and won't have a
He
clue.
won last year, but now he's going in his bottom age. Yeah,
yes.
he's bottom age. So he's
Yes.
versing some kids that are a little bit older. That's the only.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever. They're all around the same age, and Seb can just control his effort, and he'll give it a good crack. He's gonna kill it.
Cool. We'll wrap up. I reckon the only other thing to say, guys, is in this Olympic lifting block is just get your technique right early on and don't worry about the weight on the bar. The weight
Oh.
on the bar will come. You got 12 weeks to get a big weight. You don't need to get it in the first week.
Dude,
100% back
that
back.
looks good.
All right, we'll
It's
see.
1:30, we
in
gotta
a
bounce.
week's time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you soon.
Bye.